because this is yours, I'm going to swap this because I drink more than you. Thank you, thank you. I want to thank every one of you for coming out this evening. This is going to be a very private evening, and the likes of Charlie Newman are going to feel really bad that they miss this feature. Because I said to him, he's like, I can't make it. And I'm like, well, don't worry, because I think it's going to be video recorded, and you'll be able to see it as a podcast at chaoticarts.org/thecafe, or it would be a YouTube video clip as well. But he's going to miss out on it as well. So it's going to be 2 weeks running that there's not going to be a podcast for the cafe, which makes me very sad. Oh, it's less computer work for me, I guess, but that's not what I'm going for. Because I have stuff for the literary magazines that I happen to be the editor of, CC&D and Down in the Dirt magazines. They just came out today, and I got Down in the Dirt, and it's all snowy. There's just a few little weeds in the field for Down in the Dirt. Okay. Yes, and for CC&D, this is actually cover art from Peter LaBerge, and it looks really awesome. I'm like, I'm gonna have to take that. I'm like, I'm gonna have to take that as a cover, young man. Okay, I'll take that. But I would like to read a few of pieces from that, especially because it's actually the first Tuesday of November. And usually that means, at least on even number of years, that it's an election day. And there's really not an election day this year, but I'm like, I'm gonna have to pull a few, politically minded poems from the magazines or from myself or whatever. But I will read that first. I've got the precious bag. The host from, I put a little money in there. The host from last week that took over the poetry open mic for me because I was out of town, gave me, thank you. So yeah, I've got some hosts there taking care of it for me. So I'm going to ask, because this one has to have not only, I'm going to throw it at you first. Not only does she need to have, bus fare, no, I think more importantly, pay her utilities for a month with whatever we give her, because she is so worth it. And nobody else is going to hear this. I feel bad now.
Okay, well, I'll tell you. No, you can tape it.
Well, we can decide. We can see how she
try to
feels.
sound like more than 4 people.
Well, all right. How about, hey, what do you guys, do you think we can give her let's give our lady a round of applause. Oftentimes, if you're saving something for the end, oftentimes if you're saving something for the end, if you're just going to be reading things, you can give them a huge ruckus round of applause at the end. It can be done. Okay. So it's all up. Okay. It's all passing a bag around, lots and lots of money. So I will actually start by reading a few poems, and then I will start calling up the open micers for the evening. Because I said that happens to be the first Tuesday of November, which usually amounts to political stuff, I thought I'm going to read something that is a political poem of mine, and then one political poem from each of the literary magazines that were just released today. So this one, as I said, keep in mind, this is a political poem. It's not going to sound good, but we'll try to see what we can do. This is called Supposed to Make Sense. I got another one, exactly, because there's just so many people that want to give so much money. We're building out because we've learned not to give change, and just building in the 30s, the 50s, the 30s. I saw the 30s.
I'll take on orders for doing my
CTA cards. I like lots of CTA cards. Lots of Hamilton bills.
For food.
Exactly. I'm going to start with this one. This is, I will keep telling you this, a political poem, and you will all know this with all the Republican debates going on right now. This is called Supposed to Make Sense. Come and make your choice, they say, as half of you can't choose amongst yourselves to save yourselves. And each of you, even with your color-coded lines, can't even make sense of yourselves. And we're supposed to make sense of your childish banter, your name-calling and temper tantrums? We're supposed to make sense of you? So I look at all these suitors asking for me to decide, and I wonder if it's not your religion that keeps me away from you, and if I try not to think about how you don't respect women, I still still am stuck with the notion that you still can't do what you need to do. You tell me to decide when I know someone else will choose you. I think it only matters to you how many will reject you. Knowing you, I know you'll probably brush it off and come back asking for my hand again. I'm sorry. Maybe you should get back to courting someone who doesn't know any better. Thank you. Just because all of the Republican debates and the bantering and the bickering, I'm like, that's all I can do. And I'm like, you're all my suitors.
Fucking debates are those guys gonna do? Enough already.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, no.
17 scheduled.
Fox.
Right up to New Hampshire.
Fox needs to have as much airtime as possible for their Republican candidates. So, there you have it. Exactly. I don't know which order I should do these in. That one's a sadder one. I'm trying to think of them. You know, CC&D and Down in the Dirt magazines come out every month, and I happen to have one that is political, one poem, very short, that's political at each book. The November issue of CC&D just came out. It also happened to come out as a 6x9 ISBN number book. What's the difference, you say? 5.5 by 8.5 versus 6x9 would be one. Having a title would be another, and a very slightly larger typeface. Otherwise, they're the same. But if people don't see things online, they can find it by looking on Amazon.com and stumble on this. So this is why I've got these, and I will read one poem from each of these that happens to deal with politics. Since, you know, it's the first Tuesday in November, and that's what we're supposed to do. This one, oh, they're all goofy. This one is by Eric Shellman, and it is called Government. Giving into others' plans to decide their country, to deceive their country, overwhelming the people with the media, veiling the eyes of other people to believe everything they see reported on the news to be true, never revealing whole truths, making promises that aren't kept, expecting the people to agree, not allowing them to think thoroughly in their decision-making. Thank you very much. Thank you. Short pieces. I do look for, you know, I ask people, I say, hey, if you got a short one to put in, there's a chance I might actually read it. So this is why I'm also going to read, where's my political poem? Not there. It was labeled in here. This is Down in the Dirt magazine, and it is originally a spin-off of CC&D magazine. I'm taking it over as a full-time editor, blah, blah, blah. And because it's supposed to be getting colder, there's a bunch of snow with some weeds sticking out. Grounded. That happens to be the 6x9 ISBN version cover of it. Otherwise, you can see it's a regular issue. We all know our detailed differences. You know, well, we're all grounded in our own little way. Yes. But both of the magazines, CC&D and Down the Dirt, these titles are from poems that are in, or pieces that are in the book. Somebody had a piece called No Return. I said, that sounds pretty good. Grounded, well, that sounds pretty good. I'll have that for a title. So if you're accepted, there's a chance, if it comes into a book, that you can have a title named after your piece. I was going to read one poem from Down the Dirt that relates to politics. And this is from Joseph Hart. Joseph Hart. Joe Hart, thank you very much. This, short and sweet, this is called Left, Right. Conservatives are selfish bigots. All they ever wanted was to shape the world like God in their own reflection. Liberals are all deluded. Though they're well-intentioned, those whom they would like to help would sooner just cut their kindly throats. That's what we think of politics. Thank you, Joseph Hart. Thank you. Thank you all for listening. I might do a few more from CC&D and Down the Dirt. What?
He takes the middle ground.
Whatever. And, you know, is one extreme or the other good, or is the middle the worst? Because you can't make a decision either way. Who the hell knows? Exactly. So I am going to call up Oh, the guy that was host last week. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Bob!